Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to do a full flip through of my completed Hobonichi Cousin of 2021. So this will be a long video and I hope you will enjoy it. Please subscribe to my channel for more such videos, and yeah, Happy New Year everyone. So with regards to this Hobonichi, what I can tell you is my planning system has changed a lot from how I began it. This was my first Hobonichi and to how I ended it. But what also I have noticed is that I loved how I started. It is not that it did not work for me and that is why I changed. I think that that sort of planning suited me for that point of my life, maybe for that specific month. And as I had different needs, I adapted my planning system and made some changes, which is why I have a different system towards the end. But I might come back to how I started it because I think that that was perfect for me at that point of time. And there are a lot of mistakes in it, a lot of issues with it, a lot of things that I liked in it. It is not a perfect planner, but it was a perfect planner for me as such, and I hope you love this. So please put any questions that you have in the comment section below and I will get back to you on that. If you wish to see a more detailed view of each month, there is also a monthly flip through video for each month in my channel. You can check that out as well. I just thought you would love to see the transition from how I started off to how I ended it. So yeah, let's begin now. Now this is the cover that I used for 2021, which is also my one and only Hobonichi cover. I usually have a cover on cover. I just removed it so that the reflection will not cause a problem for the video. But yes, when I store it, I will be putting it in the cover on cover as well, so that this cover itself stays as a memory for me for that year. And I do not plan to buy many Hobonichi covers, so I might come back to this cover and reuse it for another year, but as of now I'm not going to use it for 2022. So this is the time traveling bird. In comparison to the other covers that were released, this was not a very expensive one, but I liked it. It was black. It was pretty at the same time, since it was not very plain black too. And yeah, these were the two bookmarks. I have not put it in now since I have completed the planner. And this was the freebie for 2022, which I have attached to the one of the pen loops over here, because I had no idea how to use this, but it is there. Now let us just do a quick... Oh my, I forgot about it. Actually, I have decorated the cover in case you want to see that as well. But before that, this is the only thing I have in the pockets. There is nothing else other than this. This was the freebie of 2021 and I did not use it. I just thought I would keep it here as a memory for that year, as the freebie that I got. Initially I planned on sticking it somewhere on the cousin, but then I thought I'll just keep it in the cover for now. So just let me take out the cousin out of this cover so that I can show you what I had done with the cover of the book itself. Now you might think about it, but I'm actually quite fine with this size, in the sense that it is not flat, but it is not so bulked up that it does not even lay close. Like, it is flat, it lies closed pretty easily, so that is fine with me. Now let me show you what I've done with the cover. So these are frame stickers that I had, and on top of this frame stickers I used these number. This was a washi, I think, from MT. And yes, it gets dirty pretty quickly, that I will admit, but I kind of liked how this cover turned out, because the whole this section that you see over here, I clearly remember that I had something had poured onto it, and then it was just a mess over here when I tried to clear it up, and this middle section is me trying to cover up that mess. So that is why you can see these washis, and on top of the washis I have my name written over here, and of course this floral section. But basically this was the mess that I was trying to cover up, and it broke my heart because it was my first cousin and I had just destroyed its cover. But at the same time, I appreciate this one thing that I always do. Just because I messed up, and I know it is a huge mess up right on the front cover, I still did not throw it away or shift to a new planner just because I messed it up. I continued with it. I tried to improvise with what I have, and I still managed to make it work. So I like it. And let me show you the back. So this is one of my favorite floral washis. I think this is also empty. I'm not really sure. You can go and check out my previous videos for that. But I really like this washi. I still have it. And yeah, I just covered it all the way till here. I didn't cover the spine, but yes, still there. And I've done the same for the insides as well. So you can see I've made it sort of a washi thing over here as well as the front. This is the back. So I've used two washis, two floral washis. These were from a set of washis I think I got from Yes Style. I think so, yes. And even the one on the front, let me see, yes. These were all from the same set. So these two and the two at the back, they were a set of 4 from Yes Style. So yeah, again I have 2 over here, blue over here. And I loved how it turned out, but I think it was a lot of work now when I think about it. Probably why I did not do this for 2022, but I really liked how this turned out. It looks really pretty to me. Then let's go to the title page. Nothing over here. I could have written my name, but I did not do it. I don't use the spread at all, the calendar. I don't mind that it is there. It's useful, but I don't use it. Then of course the yearly index. I tried to use it as a habit tracker. It was a complete failure, as you can see, and it is empty throughout. I could have thought of something else like an index, but it just didn't work out, and I've left it blank. I did not make too much of an attempt or even bother with it, but yeah, that is that. As you can see, it is completely blank. The habit tracker did not work out for me because it was too much flipping. Already there were monthly, weekly and daily spreads, and I think I did not want to flip back to here as well. The reason was that, and habit tracker is something that you need on a daily basis. So I would have preferred that if it was on the weekly spread or on the daily spreads that I regularly use, instead of having to come back here to take that off. So yeah, that is that. Then we come to the monthly spreads. As you know, the monthly spreads in the Hobonichi Cousin are all together at the beginning. So there are a few extra months. So this was December of the previous year, which is an extra month. I never write on the extra months. I just decorate it off with whatever I have. And what I usually do for these extra months is I decorate it with stickers that I do not like, so that I know I won't see these often. So I just cover it up. I don't want to throw the stickers away, so I just covered these with stickers. These were from an easy sticker book. I did not like them, but I wanted to use them somewhere instead of throwing it away, so I just put it over here. Then we come to the actual monthly spreads. So my monthly spreads are largely the same. Okay, if you have seen my flip-throughs, the basics of it is that it is a pre-planning spread as well as an overview of the month for me. So if I come back to it now and see my monthlies, I know what are the main things, or the main events of that day or that month as such, or how that month went on as such. But yes, a large part of it is pre-done in advance. So for example, all the 12 months of 2021 were pre-planned in December of the previous year, in the sense that pre-planning, in the sense that I've just added all the important dates, so such as birthdays, anniversaries. It is not that I can pre-plan everything, but some of those things. Of course, a lot of it was added later, so that is why it is also an overview. I have added in things later, so that according to what happened in that month. Let me just go through one month for you so you can see how that works, and then that is the same for all the months ahead. So firstly, as a decorative aspect, all that I did for each month is use this washi to cover up the days that are not there for that month. So it is the same washi for all the 12 months. This was one that I liked that year, that I got from Erin Condren in a seasonal surprise box. It is not available on the site any longer, so you won't be able to find it. And this month is from an easy sticker book. I think from the alphabet sticker book. I don't remember the exact name. Maybe it is the A+ style sticker book, where they have a lot of these alphabet stickers on it in gold and rose gold. So I just ended up using it here because it matched with the washi. And I also wanted the month in huge letters because it is way too small over here. I prefer to see it quickly as I look to that spread. And other than that, I don't have any decorative aspect on my monthly spread. Now coming to what I've done over here as pre-planning. So pre-planning mainly included me using these circle stickers, which are pretty, but at the same time you can see the numbers, so they are functional to indicate any important dates. So birthdays, anniversaries were already set up for the entire year in advance. I have a perpetual calendar which I refer to, from where I take those birthdays and anniversaries and copy it over here. Then the next thing that I had was not pre-planning. I did social media planning over here, since I am trying to be a little active on YouTube and Instagram. What I did over here is to see whether I'm regular with it. So it is kind of like tracking, I could say. I just wrote Instagram and YouTube, highlighted it, and as I uploaded, I ticked off if I've uploaded on that day, and I put a cross if I am not. So the idea is that at the end of the month I could see how regular I was with it or irregular I was with it. So January was a pretty great month in that terms, because I do this during the weekends, and I had been quite regular in Jan. Then the next thing that I have are these circle stickers. Now there are many circle stickers over here. I have a key for this at the back of the book, and I did not need the key, I think, for more than 1 or 2 months. Beyond that, I could remember what those circle stickers indicated, but I just kept it at the back of the book for reference as such. So these smaller stickers indicated my cleaning routine, which I did for fun. I don't really need this over here because I write down those things in the weekly to-do list. But once I've completed it, I put a tick mark, or if I'm not, I've put a cross mark. And the reason is simple, because I feel more satisfied, I guess, when I do this. This is not my daily cleaning. It is a different sort of cleaning routine I have, which I like to tick off, and it feels sort of like an accomplishment as such. Anyway, moving ahead. The next thing that I have are stickers indicating different aspects of my life. So these are for periods. Then I have, okay, I don't have any on these spread, but I have some for Sunday events that are church events. It could be some sort of special event, a meeting, the Lord's Supper, but I indicate those as well because I'm an important part of one of the church committees, so I need to have a record of that to write the report at the end of the year. So that is also important for me. Other than that, what you will see on the monthly spreads are bills. Okay, it could be different sorts of bills. Again, I have different circle stickers to indicate that, and random bills that come up, which are maybe yearly subscriptions, I write it as required when it comes up that month. And the last thing I had is these shopping stickers. Can you see a lot of them this month? There are 4 of them. They were specifically when I shopped for stationery or skincare, because these are 2 categories where I spend a lot of money and excessively. So I wanted to try to curb it. I wouldn't say completely stop it, because I know that it is impossible. That no spend technique does not work for me. I've tried. No spend, for me, it just makes it worse. If I try to control myself from not spending at all, I prefer to curb it instead, to limit myself in certain ways. So what I did is, I just on the days that I shopped, specifically stationery or skincare, I put on the sticker and I've just mentioned shopping over there. So that was something new that I tried for 2021, and I think it worked, because you can see I've done it 4 in this month, and with my behavior I used to do this every month, at least like a number of times. But as the months pass, you will get to see that these stickers are fewer in number. Of course, in some months it is more, but as of otherwise it is less. You will get to see that soon. So yeah, that is my monthly spread. Now I'll just flip through the other months for you. I've covered some things, but mostly it is all for you to see over here. There's nothing secretive over here. So just 1 in Feb, as you can see. Then 2 in March, and it goes on like that. Okay, as you can see, I was not perfect, but I tried to curb instead of overspending. And even the few times that I shopped, I tried to keep it minimal. I was working on this a lot in 2021, so there's nothing in June which I'm quite proud of. There's one here. You can see that my monthlies are kind of full over here. Some places it's empty. It's all fine, as long as I have all the important things, like see my vaccination, the first dose, All important things mentioned over here, it's great. Random things that come up like weddings, it could be even a funeral for that matter. So yeah, that's about it for the monthly spreads. I think yes, we have reached the last month. As you can see, the shopping stickers were not even there towards the end. Again, the extra months, I have used the stickers that I hated and covered up those. As you can see, I don't even refer to these months, so I don't mind that they are there. Now we come to the weekly spreads. So like for the months, I did the same over here. For the days that are not there in the weekly spread at the beginning, I covered them up with washi. And how I started the weeklies at the beginning of the year is quite different to how I ended it. So initially I tried to make the timeline work. I really did not need a timeline because I have sort of the same kind of routines every day. On most days at least, I am an at-home person. I don't go to much events or have a lot of different things to do. I have more or less the same thing every day, and I was wondering how to use these, but I tried to make an attempt. I was more on the daily spreads during the initial months than in the weeklies. So you can see I tried to make it work. And other than that, what I did is I added some decorative aspects. And here you can see these things, rosemary and such. I tried to write in when I was adding something to my routines. It could be my hair care routine or my skincare routine, so that I know when I started it, and I could take into account the difference that it has made in my life as such, whether there was any improvement or whether there were any negative effects. So this was just for that. Again, see, this is me trying out since it was my first Hobonichi. And as we go ahead, you can see it's more or less the same thing. The timelines were basically useless for me. I tried some doodling and such stickers and all that. And what I also did is write about my shopping. Whenever I shopped for skincare or stationery, I wrote down the details in the weekly at the beginning, so that I can see what all I have got, and that I'm aware of how much I'm spending as such. So moving ahead, I think yes, I have also received I've also mentioned when I've received those whatever I had ordered as such. Again, this was me experimenting. This is not actually very useful as such, but I was trying to make these spreads work out for me instead of leaving it blank. This was a nice quote. I think this quote I got it from the Hobonichi Cousin itself on one of the daily spreads. I just wrote it over here. Remember, today is the tomorrow you worried about yesterday. I think it was beautiful. So this was Jan. You can see I've put up my skincare routine over here, so that I know that I started it this week, and maybe when I change it some weeks later or some months later, I can see the difference, that I can see the improvement in my skin or hair according to the routine that I was following. Anyway, moving ahead to the next month. Again, see, most of it was me using the daily spread, so not much is happening here in the weeklies, except for me trying to work with the timelines, and of course all my routines coming up over here. And of course, as you can see, again, small routine mentions, changes in routine, shopping, a little bit of stickers here and there. That's about it for these months in March. And as we go to April, that is when I try to improve a little bit with working on the timeline, and you can see that I go into a little more detail over here. Again, what I felt over here is that I definitely like this, that I was using it a lot more effectively over here, but I didn't really need it. For some reason, I feel that for me at least, timelines are a little bit useless, because most of my days are kind of repetitive. Not to say that it is very boring or mundane as such, but I don't feel the need to actually use a timeline in that matter. I am happy with my to-do list and journaling, and as far as this section is concerned, again, I did not use it at all. I had enough of trying the timeline and I just stickered it up with stickers I don't like or I don't use. Back to using the timeline over here, and then trying out new ways of trying to, use the timeline. Again, shopping routines over here. This was, I think, when I received my Hobonichi order, because these are stickers from some Discover sale that was going on. They don't have sales generally, but they have this one sale where you get the notebooks at a discounted price, if I'm not mistaken. And yes, again, I'm trying to improvise on the timelines. There are a number of things for the first time over here, because time related things. There were a number of workshops that I attended, and this does not happen often. These were online workshops and planning workshops, to be specific, from Erin Condren. I love attending planning related workshops. And again, me just covering up the pages with stickers, because I seriously could not work with the weeks at that point of time in the initial months. And this happened roughly all the way till July, as you can see. And July I'm trying again to use it. And here what I also did is, what happened is, once I did the timeline thing, there were a lot of blank spaces. I tried to cover it up with this washi that was just there, and trying to fit it in over here. And these washis, I have to say, this one especially is a lot of work. Once you stick it, you cannot remove it. The page is just going to tear off. But yes, I was trying to work with it. And finally we are here. This is when everything changes, and this is roughly from where I have started with my current system that I am going to use in 2022 as well. And we will start with this now. So what I've done over here is basically dividing the weekly spread into 3 sections. So the top is for my reading and watching, in the sense that reading the Bible, reading any other novels, or watching, meaning watching videos, YouTube channels for language learning. So this is not a task list as such. It is something I do on a regular basis, but if I write it down, and that specific section, that specific chapters or numbers, I follow it regularly. It is just so that I complete that specific section. For example, if I write chapters 1 to 10, I see to that I've completed it. So I wouldn't necessarily consider it a task, because if it is written, I definitely do it. In the case of this to-do list at the later section, I might not do it, I may do it, I don't know. But this one I definitely do once I've written it down. Of course, I have a water tracker over here. The second section that you see here is the to-do list, which is of course all my tasks for the day, which I tick off or cross mark as required. Then the bottom section are for events. I did this for some weeks. I did not do it for some weeks, simply because, like I said, I don't attend many events. What you see here, events are largely planning workshops which were online, or church events, which I'm a huge part of, which were also online at that point of time. Okay, but not that I attend a lot of events as of otherwise. So this is not necessarily there for every week, even though I tried to include it in some weeks even when it was not required. So this is where it all started, but I was experimenting, so I was not regular with it. Let's see how it goes ahead. As you can see, it already changed. From this week, you can see the difference to the next week. There's a huge to-do list and my Bible reading over here, but it completely changed over here. But then I tried to get back to it again. The sections, there were only 2 over here. So there's the me time, the to-do list, and of course there were a few events just on 2 days. And you can see a lot of stickers over here. Again, I was trying to finish up the stickers that I had instead of buying new ones, but at the same time, I think I like how it turned out, even though there are a lot of stickers on the spread. And at the same time, I started using the left hand corner. If I did not mention that before, I think I did not. Yes, it was not there earlier. I started using the left hand column for tracking, water, reading, skincare, and also writing a shopping list, in the sense that whatever came to my mind, as because sometimes if I don't write the shopping list or things that I require, I tend to forget it for later. So not necessary that I buy it that week, but I just see to that whatever came to mind, I just write it down. And yeah, this sort of continued for the entire month of August and later, where I was experimenting with it, seeing how it works out for me, and I was liking it a lot. As you can see, I continued with the same format for most of August and I think September also, if I'm not mistaken. It continues, as you can see. Of course, there are minor changes. I just changed the way I divide, or maybe use the titles or not use the titles, but largely the main part of it remained the same. So it continues, as you can see. Of course, some things are not there, but then it's largely the same thing. So here also, same thing going on in September too. Here, I started slacking off over here. I think the reason, if I'm not mistaken, September is the time when those new planners are released, be it Hobonichi or any other planner company, and that is when you get distracted to, you know, try out new planners instead of using the current ones. And that is what happened with me. I was tempted in that direction, but luckily what happened is I did not use or buy any unnecessary planners. But yes, I did stop using this more effectively, but I did not completely stop using it. I was not that regular with it, but I would say that I did not shift to another planner, which was a big deal for me. When everyone was trying out new planners towards that quarter of the year, I did not shift to it, and I'm quite glad about that. Of course, I did order Hobonichis around that time for 2022, which I am grateful for because I needed it for 2022. So yes, now this is October. Did not use it at all over here, even though I started prepping it up. It is blank. Again, came back to using it. I think here, this week I was traveling, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, I think I was traveling. So yes, here we come to mid-November, where there was the Black Friday sales going on everywhere. And this is an extreme proud moment for me because this was the time when, you know, I would have I was tempted, that is the truth, to buy a lot of stationery from different places because there were a great number of offers going on. And I did buy, I will admit it, I did buy from Erin Condren. But I just bought 3 things. The last one is a freebie because I mentioned what I bought during the Black Friday sale, and that's it. I did not buy from any other shop, and I just bought from Erin Condren once, despite the many offers going on. And even this, for that matter, most of this order was frankly not for myself. It was for prices for Christmas. Again, I also make an order later on related to Christmas as such. So this was related to that. So I was actually quite proud of myself that I kept the order to the bare minimum during the Black Friday sale, because that is like a really tempting time to buy stationery. But yes, moving ahead, more of the blank spreads because towards the last quarter, truthfully, I was way too excited to set up my 2022 Hobonichi Cousin that I did not use this one much. I just had the minimum to-do list and that's it. And a lot of the reading, I will admit, regular reading, I had completed it. What I stopped completely was language learning, which is sad, but yes, I will admit I stopped that completely, which I want to pick up now in 2022, but I stopped it towards the last quarter as such. Bible reading was going on, even if I write it or I don't write it, I never stop with that. So that was definitely on. Then with that, we have reached the end of the weekly spreads. Now the next spread that we have, if I'm not mistaken, is the turning the page to a new year. I will not show that because what I have in that are my 2021 goals. That is what I've done, and that is a little personal, so I won't be showing that spread. So basically on the left hand side it is just a decorative aspect. On the right hand side I've written down my goals, and let me see whether I can show you the left hand side. Okay, so that is that. On the right hand side I have the goals, which I won't be sharing now. So we will move ahead to the daily spreads. Now, before the daily spreads, there's always this dashboard page for the Hobonichi Cousin for every month, and Since it was my first one, I truthfully did not have any idea on how to use it. And what I did is, I covered it with a decorative paper right at the beginning of the year. So for all the 12 months, I used different colors of decorative paper and covered it in advance. So it is not that I did it for each month, it was done long back. And it also worked as a sort of tab for me to, quickly flip to that page. So you can see over here, I can see that it is Feb and it goes on like that. And I enjoyed it in that manner, in the sense that I didn't want a lot of tabs, because initially I was confused where should I put on the tabs. Should I put it for the monthly, the weekly, or the daily? I ended up actually having no problems without any tabs. The only thing that I did is this, and it worked out great. And I did not regret it. I expected to regret it, because I was wondering, maybe I could have used the dashboard to write something monthly related over that. But I did not regret it, I think, much at least. So you can tip it in. That is another idea for you to consider. In case you don't want to glue it in, I glued it on. You can also tip it in instead and still use the dashboard page. So I put on the decorative paper. There was no need for me to do this. I do not know why I did this. I just written down the month. Anyway, coming to the daily spreads now. When the year started, the daily spreads were everything for me. You have seen how my weeklies were at the beginning. I was trying to make the timelines work, but here it was going great. The daily spreads were everything. So I had my water tracker. This top section was my to-do list. So you can see over here, what I've done is, I was writing in larger letters, okay? I always write in large. With time of using the Hobonichi, I tried to write small now, but as of otherwise, I always write in large letters. And you can see that I took up 2 lines to write as such. Instead of one box, one grid, I took up 2 grids for it. So that is why you can see I take up a lot of space to write this much. So the top section was to-do list, and the bottom section was for journaling, okay? And this was my smart idea in a way, in the sense that initially I panicked with the huge space that I saw in the Hobonichi Cousin. I did not know how I could use it. Then I realized that if I write big with my usual handwriting, I could, easily cover up the page, and this was working great for me. So the top for to-do list, the bottom for journaling, and of course you can see a number of stickers here and there that I was truthfully trying to use up. All the easy stickers, I realized that I did not really like it, and I was trying to just use it up. But these pandas, I really like them. I used it for fun because they were really cute. And these were from a washi that I had, the day stickers. Not stickers, they are from a washi. Since I had it, I used it, and also because again, I feel that everything on the Hobonichi is way too small to be, noticed as such. So that's the same format that continues for the month of Jan, and I have to say, I loved it. I loved how it went that month. So what I used to do was fill in the box if I had done the task. If I did not do the task, I just put a line across. And here what I did is, initially when I was using the weeklies for timelines, I did not have a place to write the books that I was reading and what I was watching. So I had this, this is from the Hobonichi stencil, in fact, a book, and then I used to write the book, the number of pages or chapters that I've read, and similarly what I was watching. It could be a movie or anything that I'm watching as such. And with regards to the check boxes, I think they were from the Erin Condren stencil. So, and even this, the water tracker, I think this is from the Hobonichi stencil. Stickers are largely Erin Condren, except for the panda stickers and the washi that you see over here. So yeah, if you have any other questions regarding anything that you see, you can always ask me that. Let's move ahead. It's more of the same things going on for Jan. And I really like it. I actually wish I can come back to this, because this is like one of my favorite months, I have to say, of 2021. So Jan largely went in the same format. You can see that as we flip through it. And yes, I will admit, whenever I made mistakes. I was using the whiteout to clear it off instead of cancelling it. But I think that was just initially. Later on, I started just cancelling it. So yes, we have reached the month of Feb now. So this is the dashboard page with the decorative paper I've used. And the same format continues for Feb 2. The same thing, not much of a difference with the to-do list at the top and the journaling at the bottom. But you can see I did not use it much in Feb in comparison to Jan. Okay, there were a number of reasons for that, which I do not want to talk about, but yes, I did not use it much over here. But I did decorate some aspects of it in advance. So these stickers were already placed for that month, each month. Okay, so at the start of each month, I would place these stickers, most of them, so that, you know, I just use them up. I wanted to use up those Erin Condon stickers because I didn't like them. I don't know why I got them. And that is why I was trying to curb my stationery spending, because I buy unnecessary things that I won't even use. And this is March now. Same format for March as well. I use this format for a long while. As you know from my weeklies, I did not use the weeklies much. I was just trying to work on the timelines, and that is why you can see a lot of this happening over here. The same format is going on. And this is me scribbling and trying to fill up the blank spaces that were left out in the month of March. I tore this page, in fact. I don't remember. I think when I was taking the washi, I tore the page. So yes, you can see me trying to cover up a lot over here, which I did not do in the previous months. And here, oh yes, I forgot to mention, somewhere around here, okay, long back, I guess, in March. Yes, in March I started writing small again because I realized that I was tempted to journal more and I did not have that space to journal. So that is when I started using a single grid to write, and yeah, that's how it has been going from here forward. And as you can see, my doodling is just great. I have such artistic talent that I have no words for it. Anyway, I used to write the highlight of the day over here because here was a lot of small journaling and it was difficult initially for me to, you know, find anything quickly. So I just wrote the highlights over here so that I can, you know, find it quickly. But of course that didn't work everywhere because I had already stickered it up. Again, you can see there's no connection between any of the stickers, but like I said, I was trying to use up the sticker books that I have instead of buying new ones, even though I was really tempted on seeing the beautiful stickers from, you know, many places. Like Sterling Ink is one of my favorites, but I have not bought even once from her despite loving her a lot. But yeah, that's about that. Let's go ahead. And there's a lot of scribbling going on here. This is me testing out the jelly rolls in my Hobonichi Cousin. I know I'm crazy. And this is still the month of March, and roughly the same format with the to-do list at the top. The only difference is that I started writing smaller in one grid instead of using two grids for journaling. But then yes, again here it's larger. So with that, we move on to April. In April, I changed up the system a little bit. Okay, so what I started doing is, since I realized I need a lot more space for journaling, I was trying to, you know, adjust that space and write accordingly. So here is me trying out new things. I started writing vertically, and before it was horizontal, as you saw. So I attempted journaling on the left hand side and writing my to-do list to the right. Of course, here is my water tracker, and these were my, you know, language learning and reading goals. So that is what I am attempting for April, as I began April. But again, I have to say the stickers were already set up because I did not particularly care for them, but I just wanted to use them up. And here is me changing it in the next day itself. I shifted it to the right hand side, so the journaling came to the right hand side and the to-do list on the left hand side. And I was attempting to write my meals, but frankly I realized that I don't particularly care about writing down the meals. I know that it is an important section for many people, but as of now it does not matter much to me. This week I did not write much, if I am not mistaken, because Was this the time we were traveling? There was something going on over here. And that is why you can see a little of journaling happening over here, except for the bare minimum. And then it continues on for a lot of April, and here we get back on track where I start back journaling on the right hand side, to-do list over here, and of course all my watching and reading also along with the to-do list. So see, as you can see, since it is my first year, I am just experimenting a lot, but it's more or less in that format, and I have to say I enjoyed it a lot. May is another one of my favorite months, where I think it was a lot more streamlined in May in comparison to the other months. So it's the same thing happening over here with the journaling on the right hand side, but I saw to it, I wrote the me time section on top. That is what I watch and what I read. I have my water tracker and my to-do list over here. So I think it started to get a little bit more neater over here. I attempted to be at least a little more neater in terms of how I'm using these spreads, and I really liked how May turned out. Of course, there was a little decorative aspect as well included in May, and some of the colors are at least matching. In terms of the previous spreads, they were there was completely no connection with each other, but I really like how, especially the initial weeks of May, how the spreads have turned out as such. These are stencils. I have no artistic talent. I just wanted to mention that. I really have no artistic talent. If you see anything over here, they are either stickers or they are stencils, and that's it. So yeah, that's about it for a lot of May. These are cards that I got long back, I think. I don't remember, what was it, last year, from EC. I never use them. I don't use them at all, so I just put it on my planner because they are pretty and there are nice messages or quotes on them, so I just use them over here. Again, using stickers that I don't like over here. All are from EC. Not that I'm blaming them, they're just not my style. Back to the same journaling format with the to-do list on the left hand side. And then we reach June. June is green in color, and June is where I was not well, and this is where I went back to different styles. Yeah, so you can see a large to-do list over here, no journaling, and this is on sticky notes I started writing what I was reading and watching. There's a little bit of journaling over here, but for most of the spreads, if I'm not mistaken, I just have my to-do list and what I was reading and watching. And you can see that from here, exactly from here to be specific, I started crossing off things because I was really irritated. I was not well, things were not happening, and I was quite angry. I wish I had not crossed it off, but it's okay, I understand why I did that. So none of these happened, in the sense that I used to write to-dos, but frankly nothing worked much because I was in my room. It's not like I could do many things beyond that room. Of course, I did clean up my room, again not on all days. I'll admit the truth, I was quite lethargic during those days when I was not well. And yeah, a few things happened, as you can see, within my room itself, but there were many things that could not happen as well. And I wrote small things, how I was feeling. What did happen, however, is these that I have to mention is all my reading was going on very well. Since I had all the time in my room, I did all my reading and such things. And yes, to-dos were not working out, and this is the case for most of June, as you can see. All my reading goals were happening, but as far as to-dos were concerned, they were quite rare. Minor things used to happen. Most of it did not happen as I was not well due to COVID, and I'm grateful. I'm grateful for everything during that time. God has been wonderful in that manner with me, and yeah, I'm happy that I'm here now in 2022 despite that all. And this was a different sort of a month with regards to planning. Nevertheless, I did like it. I like the fact that I did this. It was minimal, but it was beautiful. This is not My Talent. It is from a stencil from Erin Condren. I love it. And I just highlighted it. I'm not even sure whether you can see the green color highlighter from Erin Condren. It was very light at that point of time. I think it works better now once I've started using it often. So yes, all of these are stickers, or these are not stickers, in fact they're sticky notes. All are from EC. Like I said, I had got a lot of EC products that I was not even interested in using. I did not know why I got it, but then 2021 was a year where I decided that I would not buy more unnecessarily. Instead, I would try to use what I have. Even though I may not like all of the things that I have, I still decided to go ahead and use it. So yes, here is when things were getting better. As you can see, I am starting to write a little bit more and do things a little bit more, and finally we have reached August. So let's see. Now in August, yes, as you can see, I am working a lot more better on my to-dos. Of course, there were many things that didn't happen because even after getting better, I was tired on most days. But as you can see, I started watching, going back to language learning, reading, maybe one-line journaling, but I attempted at least. And as you can see, it's improving. And this is more or less the style I had in Jan. If you remember, with the to-dos horizontal and journaling at the bottom in huge letters using 2 grids. Because after that COVID time, it took me time to get back to, journaling or planning as such. I couldn't immediately get that flow back, and that is why I did this, where I felt that at that point of time, I think the blank space bothered me and I wanted to fill it up. So I went back to writing bigger using 2 grids, and I think that was fine because it worked great for me at that point of time. Now when I look back at it, of course it is a lot of stickers, as you can see, stickers I don't like, but I still used it, and I'm glad I did. Now when I look back at it, I don't really hate it. It's okay. I think I've kind of got used to it now. Yes, now I am trying here to get back to my journaling. Oh yes, and as you can see, I'm only journaling over here, and the reason is simple, because this is where I started using the weeklies as my to-dos from July or mid-July. That is why you can see that I'm only journaling here and no to-dos are happening over here, because that is when my system completely changed. So when I started using the weeklies as my to-dos, this daily section started becoming my journal section. So this, as you can see, there's a letter in here, so I won't open that. I've just attached it here that I had received. So this is entirely journaling, as you can see. Oh, I'm sorry, this was August. I think I got confused. That was July, this is August. A lot of journaling, as you can see. And I have to say, I really liked it. And this is very interesting, because when I initially started with the cousin, I couldn't even journal like more than 2 or 3 lines, and now I feel that I can journal a lot more comfortably for longer space, for the entire page. But at the same time, I am in a comfortable space where I do not panic when my pages go blank, when I've not filled it up or I've just filled it up halfway. I think I am in that sort of space where I do not get bothered by seeing others' pretty pages where they have beautiful handwriting, creative ways of stickering things up, or artistic talent. I am fine with my style and I like it the way it is. And this is where I started enjoying, I think, my planning a lot more, and I'm quite happy with how it is right now. So this was August, as you can see. Used it a lot, did not use some things a lot, and that is fine with me. But this is also from where I kind of start going down a little bit in terms of September. This is September. I love this. I don't know whether you can see the texture. I love this decorative paper. Yes, this is September. Again, journaling a lot over here. The washis that I was using on the covers over here, the flora from EC that they released. I just love their flora design. And yes, I journaled, I did not journal. And this was around the time when new planners were released, not only in terms of Hobonichi, generally in terms of most planner companies as such. And that is why I don't want to blame it on that, but that is the truth. I got distracted and I kind of stopped using this as much as I was using it in the initial days of September. So this is from Yoseka Stationery. They always make it a little personal by giving this sort of little notes. And this is October. So this is where I truly stopped using it well. So you can see it goes blank like a lot. I have like a little message in everything. And then you can see not used much. It's largely empty in October. The last quarter is not a place where I used it a lot, frankly, because like I said, once I got the Hobonichi in hand, the new Hobonichi for 2022, I was so busy in setting it up. Okay, I won't show these pages much because there's a lot of information there which I do not want to share. Okay, and this is November. More or less the same thing like I mentioned. I do not use it much. A few lines here and there where I try to mention the highlights of the day so that, you know, I can come back and see to what happened that day, but largely empty. And the interesting thing is, unlike earlier where I used to go and fill it up, now I do not even do that. Since I've got my new planner, I'm way too excited for that. I do not know whether it is just me or that's the same for everyone. Initially it bothered me a lot that I was doing that, but I'm glad that I did not give up on this planner completely, and I managed to reach December and, you know, come back to journaling a lot more in December. Of course some pages are empty, but largely I think I got back a lot to writing something about each day. Even if it is not on the same day, it could be sometimes the next day. In some rare cases I did it even a few days later, where I went and back planned or journaled as such. So that was also something that happened in December. So with that, we have come to the end of the daily spreads. Of course, after the daily spreads, we also have a few more of notes pages. Notes pages are very few in the Hobonichi, and what I always use it, as in it's the same case for 2022 as well, I use it for the books that I'm reading that year. So this was a sticker that I found. The idea is actually to cut it off and stick it in different places. But this was the first time I was trying it out and I didn't realize, and I accidentally attached the whole sticker sheet onto the page, but then it looked nice, so I was like fine with it. But yes, now going on, this did not work out. Firstly, this was a mistake. I was not supposed to leave this blank. What is happening is, here I have washed the top and the bottom, and I have my list of books for 2021 over here, as you can see. These are from Goodreads, largely most of them. And what I've done is, I have written the title, the writer, the category of the book, and then the month that I was reading it in, and the type of format. Like it could be Audible, it could be just a random PDF ebook, or it could be an actual book, a physical book. So I just mentioned that as well. And I take it off once I've completed and just crossed off for the times that I didn't read it. So it is quite minimal, nothing great happening over here. And what I meant to do for these pages, since I had left it in any case, was to have like a photo album sort of situation. How do I say that? I don't know. Where, you know, I have the images of each book that I read, only the ones that I completed, and like a library sort of situation. It did not work out because I didn't bother doing it. I don't know why. But I've actually done not that, something similar to it for 2022. So you can check out my Hobonichi Cousin setup video for that if you wish to see my to be read list for 2022 and how I've set it up. And at the back, this was my first Hobonichi, so I tested out my pens, the pens that I have. that is something that I wanted to point out. I know that many people look for pens to suit this paper, and that is totally fine. But I wanted to work with pens that I already have before trying to find new pens and then, expensive fountain pens as such. Maybe I will in the future if that interests me, but as of now, I was using only the pens that I already had. Of course, some like the jelly rolls were way too much, as you can see, they transferred. Surprisingly, the EC Erin Condren pens, the black marker pen, or any color for that matter, works great on the paper. I was surprised by it, and I really loved using it. In fact, that is what I am going to use for 2022 as well. I did not use these. Frankly, these are not very useful for me. I used one of the notes pages as my key for all those circle stickers that I mentioned earlier. And as you can see, these are all those printed notes pages they have. This was for me to have, like an additional notes page at the back, in the sense that, as you saw earlier, Hobonichi does not have many notes pages. So I just thought maybe I want to scribble something which I do not directly want to write on my planner, but I never got back to using it. But then I just kept it over here. I did not change it. This is from the Hobonichi Papers notebook, this paper that you see over here. And these are just some circle stickers with which I've attached it over there. I can easily remove it. It won't tear off the paper, but I've not done that. And another thing I wanted to point out is, as you saw the thickness of my planner, and you can see that when I open it, in some cases, like towards the end, this side is quite thicker and this side is quite, not so thick, even at the beginning. But frankly, I was initially worried that I would have difficulty writing, with this sort of shape, as others mentioned when I saw other planners which were quite thick. But I did not have any difficulty, maybe because mine is not as huge as theirs is. I guess I did not have difficulty writing all the way up to here. Truthfully, no difficulty at all. So I loved using the Cousin, that I've decided to continue with it for next year as well. And I hope that was the same case for you. If yes, mention it down in the comments below. I would love to read on why you loved your Cousin and are you considering using it in 2022 as well. So see you all in the next video. Happy New Year.